Yeah.
By the time we get one, it's gonna be out of this.
Got a bit of it, yeah.
I'm still going this way.
Oh, we still want-
Business is going on.
I know that way, well, much slower.
Ours too.
I might have had 3 service calls today.
Yeah, and I put down here.
I usually get 3 or 4 calls per guy, and 4 guys.
To talk to Claire. And then voting.
We gotta get this call tomorrow.
Yes.
I just have my manager, I'm like, because I'm paying all my employees still.
Yes.
So, right now, my manager, we're just coming over.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing this and that.
Yes.
But, you know, but even the part-time people I'm paying, you know.
Kind of lay them off, and then they go sit there and try to get on unemployment, and then try to get
Yeah, they probably.
So it's.
Anyway, they fight for, you know, the reference.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just me. Any quick copy?
You got all our mess.
We should.
Go get that from
Yes.
Dang it. Sandy, your art looks nice. I can tell you.
Oh,
I really appreciate it. I'm dying to put flowers in it, but I just know I'm gonna be on social media. The city manager flew to Palo Flowers as her essential trip.
Yeah.
So,
There was 40.
I'm like, what if I were to mail order bowls? I'm not trying to, I'm sketching right
I
now.
would taste another few, and I thought the same thing.
Saturday, there was
Sherry has
40
eggs in her yard
in
and
the March
apples
Garden.
and.
40 people in line at Lawn Garden for loads on Saturday.
Oh.
See, and it's just my luck.
Never.
They won't be on social
I knew there was
media.
reason I didn't get that.
It was
Okay.
great. And there was somebody out there counting people too, when let you go in and all that.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, it was a madhouse.
You know, I had to go to Gatsby last week to a dentist and all things, and there was a lady that had huge flowers on the roadside. So I saw her when I was lost trying to find the dentist's office, and then I forgot when I left, and it's like, darn it, there was not a car there, she was all by herself. I was like,
You could've made her day.
I know, would have made mine too, I would have finally gone. I'm getting discouraged, I
I
thought,
think also Dr. Rupert passed away.
I did, I know.
Which,
I guess he was in the office or something. March 27th. or
the,
Another.
Yeah. It went for the.
yeah.
Gosh. Oh, Leslie's back here.
It seems like we're missing-
Particularly question?
Oh, we're out of order.
we're probably missing Robert.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We did well, so.
Yeah, exactly. We're all like that differently. Doesn't feel the same.
I don't know if we can function.
I don't know either. It's gonna be a stress.
It's interesting to see people are more or less emboldened to combat. Who's this out?
Yeah.
We are live now, and so at any time, we can start to receive some comments. Just a reminder that Leslie will be reviewing those, and then if it's a relevant agenda item, contact Forum and Mary Jane, all the meetings. We got a first comment from Shane Carmichael, so your department heads are reviewing remotely, and he says, video communications are good.
Oh, well, there we go. So I guess.
So the old school guy,
Let's
that's-
get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and where's the slides?
Of course, he's like in here in his office, right?
Yeah, he's looking around the corner.
Yeah, mirrors.
Okay, Leslie, are we ready? Okay, this time we'll call our regular meeting to order, and Leslie, if you will call roll.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Slater?
Here.
Councilman Air?
Here.
Councilman Torgerson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dale?
Here.
And Mayor Fitch?
Here.
Stand for the invocation and pledge. Bless those present, O Lord, that the business conducted here this evening will be for the continued betterment of our city, and in keeping with thy commandments, we ask in God's name. Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, welcome to all of our citizens and residents who might be tuning into the meeting tonight. This is different for us, but we wanted to continue our business as usual, even in these times, so thank you. I do have a statement to make pursuant to the Executive Order number 20-69 issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on March 20th, 2020. Municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present physically or at any specific location, and utilizing communications media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing as provided by Section 120.545B2 Florida statute, where members of the council appear remotely and for public participation. While a quorum of council members are physically present for this meeting, along with a minimal number of key staff, we are following the governor's emergency orders and the city's emergency declarations by having less than 10 people physically present, and we are maintaining a distance of 6 feet between people and following other CDC guidelines for social distancing and protection. At this time, I'd like to ask our city attorney, Mary Jane Bass, to explain the procedures for public comment and for participation in this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This meeting is being streamed on YouTube Live and on the city's Facebook page. The agenda and backup material and the agenda packet is posted on the city's website as usual. As set forth in the notice for the meeting, also posted last week, members of the public who wish to participate in the meeting were asked to review the agenda and submit their questions or comments on agenda items by email to the city clerk with their name and address and a reference to the agenda items by email, to the agenda items on which they wish to comment. And it was also explained in the notice that questions or comments on agenda items could be mailed directly to the city clerk's attention at the City of Gulf Breeze, City Hall, 1070 Shoreline Drive, Gulf Breeze, Florida, 32561. The city requested that all correspondence be received by 4 p.m. Central Time today, April 6th. So as we go through the agenda during this meeting tonight, the mayor will ask for public comment on agenda items as usual. And at that point in the meeting, the clerk will read the questions or comments submitted, and then the mayor and the council members can respond as if the comments were being made here in person. And if there are follow-up comments or questions or others who wish to be heard that did not have the opportunity or were not able to submit comments or questions prior to the meeting, then they may post those comments through the chat on the YouTube Live. You should also provide your name and address and question or comment there, and then it will be read and responded to by the council. And let me just say here that our usual rules on comments and participation will apply. The chair will have the mayor will have the discretion to hold comments 2-3 minutes. And if it's on an agenda item, it must be on the topic that is being considered at that time. And then at the end of the meeting, anyone who would like to participate during the public forum should also put their comments on YouTube Live, again, providing your name and address and question or comment, and those will be read and presented to the council. Does anyone have any questions on the process? Then, Madam Mayor, I would recommend that you call for a motion to adopt the procedures that I've just read as the rules and regulations we will follow under the governor's executive order for conducting our meetings with public participation in a virtual way, and then if we have to in the future with the complete meeting being virtual, we can always modify or change those as we go. But again, this is if this is acceptable, then I would recommend that you entertain a motion that this process be adopted.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, passes 5-0. Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll begin with our resolutions. Our first resolution is Resolution 23-2020. And Samantha, we'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Consideration of Resolution 23-2020 is necessary in order for the council to ratify Resolutions 2020, which was the mayor's first declaration of emergency on March 19. Also, Resolution 2120, which incorporated the governor's executive order related to the closure of on-premise service for bars and restaurants within the city and prohibiting public gatherings of 10 or more people, in addition to directing other CDC guidance be enforced in public places, and deferral of service fees for online utility payments, and lastly, providing guidance for compensation of essential manning pursuant to the city's pandemic plan. Thirdly, Resolution 23-2020 incorporates Resolution 22-2020, which allows the City of Gulf Breeze to use the communication and media technology that our city attorney just described. And so we would ask that the council adopt Resolution 23-2020 to provide for the council's ratification and adoption of those three resolutions enacted by the mayor of the City of Gulf Breeze to implement protective measures related to the COVID-19 and to approve other administrative measures taken by the city in response to the pandemic. Of course, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Leslie, do you have any comments?
No, ma'am, you do not.
All right, okay. Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you, Sam. On page 8, where it talks about the things that it's pertaining to, it's talking about entering into contracts, current obligations, appropriation expenditures. Is this related only to COVID-19, or is that for anything?
It can relate to anything. There may be times that due to COVID that our normal vendors who provide us with services advise us that they cannot. And I have to make a determination that in the interest of continuing operations, we need to take some other type of immediate action. When that happens, just as I have communicated with you, I will continue to do that whenever we even think that there may be a service interruption, and if I do need to take such action. And also I would always ask that you ratify those actions that I take. So today we are aware from 2 of our vendors that there may be issues. And so we're addressing those, we're planning for them, but there has been no cancellation of the existing services now. But that's really the reason for that, is knowing that this doesn't just affect Gulf Breeze or even the state of Florida. There could be an interruption in service during this prolonged event.
Answer. Okay. All right, any other comments or questions?
If I could just say too that in the resolutions that the mayor enacted, we did follow along with what language from the executive order to the governor, and also orders that were being placed by Santa Rosa County, so that we could be consistent with others in the state and with our
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other discussion, questions? All right, hearing none, we will take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Sorry. Oh, yes, we do need a motion. Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Passes 5-0. Next on our agenda, we have resolution number 13-2020, which is approving the plan of finance. Samantha?
Oh, I may be out of order. I think
Am I out?
24-2020.
You saw the new
We're keeping you on your toes, I think.
Maybe you can see here.
New page 20.
Oh, yes, okay.
Is there?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and dive right in this as we just talked about how with the constantly evolving nature of this pandemic, we are having to be very quick with our responses, and this is no different. I've communicated with the council by email that as of 2 weeks ago, we had a billing cycle where we had 5 individuals fill out the city's financial hardship application, which is, pretty general in nature. And as of last week, we had 70 individuals who were on our disconnect list. By taking the typical steps that we do every month by texting and by calling, within 24 hours, that went from 70 to 40 individuals. We were taking the next step, which was a door knocker, to make sure that those customers are informed of our hardship letter, that we can fill that out for them over the phone, to make that extremely convenient. They just need to say that they're experiencing a hardship. We take down their customer account information, and then we suspend the late fee, because that was part of your emergency resolution that you just ratified. However, we were within a half hour of moving forward with the door knockers when Governor DeSantis invoked the executive order for the Safer at Home. And so because of that and very quick turnaround, I emailed the council and recommended that this resolution be drafted for your consideration. I also shared with you in that email some comparison information that our surrounding utilities have also suspended disconnects, and they have suspended late fees just during this pandemic period. My recommendation to you is that we do continue with the hardship letter, as this memo states and the resolution states. We will continue to track those customers who are late, and ultimately if there's a non-payment on their monthly bill, because we will be making those reports to you monthly. But it is important that those customers reach out to us and express their desire to be placed on the hardship application, rather than simply customers thinking that they do not have a bill due, because they do.
Bill doesn't go away.
A bill does not go away, and so I think that's important. But in consideration of the governor's order for Safer at Home and recognition of how that does make it very difficult for those customers who are employed by non-essential businesses at this time, this resolution is in keeping with the spirit of your surrounding utilities to suspend for the month of April the disconnect and the past due fee of it's a $25 past due fee. Ultimately, across all of our utilities, I also shared with you, from natural gas, water, and sewer, it could be, we think, at most $10,000 at very most, but we expect that it will be far less than that. We'll continue to reach out to our customers. Happy to answer any questions.
So once they get caught up, how do they, once things get normal, how do they get caught up?
We would not, so let's say that the Safer at Home executive order is lifted mid-May. What we would, recommend is that we continue with the billing when it's the start of the new billing cycle. So then it would not be until the 1st of June. So you would hit each of those 4 billing cycles. And we would not charge people if they, for a late fee or a reconnect fee for April or May. So there won't be an assessment of those charges. They will be waived for the month of April. That's what this resolution states.
So, but they still have a bill due.
Their bill is absolutely still due, but the
Are we
late
providing
fee,
a way for them to add in a little bit each month? I mean, they're not suddenly going to have, you know what I'm saying?
we currently, in addition to already having a hardship application, we also already have a policy for payment plans.
Okay.
And so to answer your question, Councilman Schluter, if in May or June, they are unable to catch up and pay
Right.
that all at once, then absolutely we would work with them for a payment plan to stagger that.
To try to
Yes.
add a little bit or whatever we can do.
And we absolutely do that already, but just as we did with the hardship letter, we will push that out through social media, we push that out through texting, and we call those customers directly.
All right, thank you. Leslie, did we have any questions or comments? Okay. All right, council, any other questions or discussion? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, move to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, and we've got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. All right, now we will move to Resolution 13-2020, which is approving a plan of finance. This was Liza Jackson Preparatory School and the bond that goes with it.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. And the TEPRA hearing was held this morning. There were no questions or comments submitted. There were no members of the public who attended. This was an open meeting. And so, again, this is a plan of finance not to exceed $20 million in bonds with recommendation for approval by the CTA.
All right, thank you. Leslie, any comments or any questions? All right. All right, council, do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
A second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions regarding this?
First one I've seen closest to us.
Yeah.
That is true, actually. We
It's a great school.
Is it?
I've lived there for 6 years, yes. It's a great school, no cool.
Oh, good.
Great reputation.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. All right, next we will move on to resolution number 14-2020, which is approving a plan of finance for Assistance Unlimited. Samantha?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is for the issuance of bonds not to exceed $32 million as described in the attached resolution. The TEPRA hearing likewise was held this morning. There were no comments or questions from the public, and there was no attendance. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I'm sorry, the CTA board recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. Leslie? Amy?
Have not received any comments or questions.
All right, thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions before we take a vote? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that passes. And we will move on to resolution number 15-2020, which is again approving a plan of finance, and this is for Winter Garden Propco LLC. Samantha?
Thank you. The TEPRA hearing was held this morning. There were no questions or comments or public in attendance. This is for a senior living facility for a bond issuance not to exceed $40 million, and the Capital Trust Agency Board recommends approval.
All right, thank you. Leslie?
No, ma'am, we have not received any comments or questions.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. All right, next we will move on to our ordinances and public hearings. We are going to now address the second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 4-2020, providing for the permanent cessation of city council executive meetings. Leslie, would you read that by title, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance number 042020, an ordinance of the city of Gulf Breeze, Florida, amending section 6-136 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Gulf Breeze, Florida, relative to permitting requirements for special business events, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public questions or comments?
I know I have not received any.
All right, thank you. All right, council, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
A second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. All right, our next, ordinance, do I grab this one?
Maybe on, dash 2020, special business.
Oh, yes, I did. Okay, we will back up to ordinance number 4-2020.
Right, if I could just say, I
Sure.
think that's what we just
Ran
did.
through it. Yeah,
It was,
sorry.
the title was,
Did I read the wrong title?
Yes,
But,
but, so we had just, the one we just entertained was the one to change the code on special event planning.
Yes.
And that's the regular, correct one.
Okay,
Right,
all right,
so
Okay,
now we're
so I
on
just-
Now we're
to
on
cessation.
cessation.
got it. Okay, thank you.
We'll get them all
that was-
loaded on.
Yes, exactly. All right, so now we will move on to ordinance 5-2020.
I need to recuse myself from voting on
Unvoted.
first.
All right, should be one that just.
Should we go back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
raise that vote?
To make that clear, okay.
Okay, then on ordinance 4-2020, which was changes to the special business event permitting, then Mr. Torgerson is recusing himself. So council, we will take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, passes 4-0.
Do you need a new second on that? Because he was the second.
Oh, yes, we
I made a
did.
motion. A second.
Okay, so, all right. Leslie, have you
Yeah,
got all this?
Yes.
Sorry, Leslie.
Okay.
So we have, Councilman Haber that made the, motion, Councilman Slater that seconded, and, the vote was 4-0 with, Councilman Torgerson recusing himself.
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we will move on to ordinance 5-2020, and that's providing the permanent cessation of city council executive meetings, second reading. Sam, any?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I will just point out that the council did this as one of the first actions taken from your first planning retreat as a new council. You did that with the thought that it may encourage more public engagement during your regular meeting where action is taken. There was confusion in the past with public who would attend the executive session and hear the discussion, and not always grasp that it was not final until action was taken at the next meeting. And after having the last year, we have all commented there certainly has been more attendance, more engagement, but also it does not mean that you are having fewer meetings. We also pointed out in the memo that you have a total of 57 meetings. And so certainly you have been continuing to deliberate and hold special meetings when there are items that needed that public engagement. So with that, we have not had any changes from the first reading.
Okay. All right, thank you. Leslie?
Ordinance number 05-2020, an ordinance of the city of Gulf Breeze, Florida, amending section 2-36 of the Code of Ordinances to provide for the permanent cessation of city council executive meetings on the Wednesdays preceding each regular city council meeting, providing for severability, providing for conflict, providing for complication, and providing for an effective date.
All right.
And Mayor, we have not received any comments or questions regarding this.
All right. Council, any discussion? Do we have a motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. All right, next we will be addressing ordinance number 6-2020, and that is changes to the development letters. And Leslie, would you read that by title? Thank you.
Ordinance number 06-2020, an ordinance of the city of Gulf Breeze, Florida, amending section 20-41 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Gulf Breeze, Florida, relative to development levels defined, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. We have not received any comments or questions regarding this ordinance.
All right, thank you. Council, do we have a motion? And a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Here. Yes. That's
He'll
so
miss
true.
you.
I'm sure he will. He's probably paying close attention right now. All right, I will take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. All right, next we will move on to the approval of minutes. Is that right? Okay. We'll call for the approval of the March 16, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Council, any questions?
I do have one item, action item D. Indicates on that particular vote that I was a dissenting party. I was not against that, it's just that I had to recuse myself because I work for one of the people involved. Just a matter of changing the word.
Okay.
So 4-0 vote.
4-0, and it was a recusal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not just that.
all right, thank you. Do we need to vote on that?
On the amended minutes, yes.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions about the amendment to the minutes? All right, hearing none. Very good. And we have a second. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, moving down to the consent agenda items. We will call for the consent agenda. Of our one item, is there any item that the council would like to remove from this? All right. So we have got, on that, it would basically be the engineering task order for WWTF stormwater discharge. Any public comments regarding this one last week? Okay, do we have a motion and a second?
Make a motion that we approve action item A, or alpha.
Okay,
We're talking about the other two.
It's consent.
that's just the consent agenda.
Oh, consent.
sir.
Yeah.
My bad. Motion to approve for the consent agenda item alpha.
Okay, all right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any questions or comments? All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Now we'll move down to the action items. Action item A is the assignment of agreement for Belfry's 2019 resurfacing projects. Samantha?
Thank you. The city received notice March 24th that CW Roberts Contracting had acquired Mid-South Paving as of March 23rd. The notice included a request for the city to consent to the assignment of its agreement with Mid-South to CW Roberts. Staff and the city attorney have reviewed, and the suggested modifications have been made to the request letter to include the specific language from the contract regarding assignments. The majority of the work is satisfactorily complete, only lacking the final pavement, markings, and cleanup, so the staff sees no complications arising from the assignment, and we recommend approval.
All right, thank you. Do we have any comments or questions about that?
And we've not received any comments or questions.
All right, thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and any discussion?
CW Roberts is a big outfit. They have good reputation.
Have we ever used them before?
I don't know firsthand, I can ask Tom.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
No,
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. And our action item B is the memorandum of agreement between Santa Rosa County, calling for our water system in the city of Belfry. Finally.
Well, Mayor and Council, I think it would take a worldwide pandemic to make this climactic. Because in ordinary times, we would have a band playing outside. But I think we all are also a little tired, I could say. At least I know that Mayor Pro Tem Nail is. There were times I'm sure you felt like Sisyphus rolling this rock uphill, but we're very pleased to say that the City Council's consideration is the last signature needed on the dotted line. So the Board of County Commissioners unanimously approved the attached agreement, as did Holly Navarre Water Systems. The agreement that you have in front of you reflects the terms that the council approved last October 7th. And so we're very pleased that there is a minimum amount of reclaim that will be provided during our driest summer months. Rather than go through the whole agreement, I'm just going to give a brief explanation to what it is. We started off several years ago talking to exclusively Holly Navarre about the fact that the east end of our reclaimed water system, we had an issue of a lower pressure because of lesser supply. And in 2016, through a grant primarily funded through Northwest Florida Water Management District, the city purchased an elevated storage tank in anticipation of an agreement with Holly Navarre, whereby during those wet weather months, they would be sending us their reclaim that is treated at their plant, and that we would then be able to provide it to our customers at the very low cost of $6 a month. There have been conversations that have gone back and forth, but with the prevalence now of a BP oil spill recovery money, restore money, Santa Rosa County took off the back burner their plans for removing effluent from Navarre Beach and constructing a connector to Eglin property. Holly Navarre started talking with Santa Rosa County and drafted an agreement whereby they would send their reclaimed water, which is treated to a higher standard than the Navarre Beach wastewater treatment plant. But they would send that through an interconnect to the Eglin connection. The Northwest Florida Water Management District has been a long proponent of the City of Gulf Breeze's reclaimed water system, which we have been growing since 2002. And really, they were the game changer here. They came to the table and facilitated meetings. And what we are now working on is a 5-year strategic plan. And what you see in this agreement is that the first phase is for Holly Navarre to construct a connector to Eglin. The second phase is for Gulf Breeze to then construct an interconnect between us and Holly Navarre. It doesn't require that we do so, but this agreement expresses the city's intent to do so. If the city moves forward with that, Northwest Florida Water Management District has pledged the reimbursement 100% of that cost. And that is meaningful because it doesn't rely on a state appropriation. That is budgeted money within their department. It is money that the governor has placed a high priority on reclaim. And so everyone feels really good about making that happen. And then likewise, Navarre Beach is the third phase, and they can decide whether they want to spend a proportionate amount of money, about $2.5 to $3 million, in upgrading their plant to reclaim standards and connect back westward, or if they are going to send their entire discharge north. Those conversations, are ongoing. It doesn't. Our connection with Holly Navarre doesn't rely on what Navarre Beach ultimately does, but there is potential there that we could even receive more reclaim within 5 years. Importantly, this does state that if Gulf Breeze constructs the connector, then there is a minimum of 200,000 gallons during those important dry summer months that Holly Navarre will provide to our customers. So that allows us to make some important planning decisions with South Santa Rosa Utility, and allows us to expand our system and to even look to continue to expand west. So that's just a recap for our public at home of where we are, but it allows us to to provide an important resource to our customers at a very low cost for irrigation, and to also hopefully open the opportunity for our hotels and car washes as well. And Mayor Pro Tem, did I leave anything out in this ever?
Nothing that I can address. It did, it was great. It was really, Samantha really was able to drill down into this pretty complex situation with a lot of different parties involved. So she's given a lot of credit to other people.
Well, I do appreciate that, but I also want to express that I think that it carries a lot of weight to be able to look across the table from your state senator and from your state agency directors, and to say, my mayor and council volunteer for $1 a year. We're talking about reclaimed water that is outside of our city limits, and we're committed to do this because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do to be a good environmental steward, but also to help keep rates low. And ultimately, by expanding our service area, I know it's your desire that we bring reclaim inside the city as well. So speaking on behalf of staff, that really gets us motivated and it keeps us energized. So we appreciate your guidance.
Thank you. Thank you for the time, because I know that has been many contract variations that we've back and forth for a really long time. So thanks to both of you, Mary Jane and to Sam, for knowing budgets and those, and watching out and getting it finalized. So good job.
Excellent turnaround.
It was.
Months ago, it was.
Yeah, this is like, yay.
Okay. Can we all make a motion?
Yeah, do you want to make it? It's one person for a second.
I think Councilman Neal.
Yes. Make a motion. We think you should make a motion.
Move for approval.
And a second. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. And is there any discussion on our part? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed, same sign. And yay, we're done with that. Hooray, good job. Good job, everybody. All right, next we've got action item C, which is the cancellation of the Spring Festival. Do you have any questions?
No,
All right, Samantha, not
Thank
much
you.
to say.
Yes, but I do want to explain for those who may be tuning in at home why we are recommending the cancellation and not just the postponement. Our Spring Fest is funded with tourism development dollars, as well as tax dollars, and of course the lion's share of that is right now during our tourist season. The remaining portion of our TDC dollars are used to defray the cost of maintenance at our waterfront parks. And because it is an unknown how long the pandemic will last, we do recommend, fortunately, the cancellation of Spring Fest this year, anticipating that we're just not going to have the budget.
All right, questions or comments? Any from the public?
They have not received.
All right, do we have a motion? This would be.
Just an aside there. Of course, the Easter Palm Sunday parade, if you will, procession, I guess you could say, was overtaken by events and did not happen yesterday. That was also just events in South Carolina.
Probably the first time.
First in a long time. Maybe the first.
All right, any other discussion or questions? All in favor of the Spring Fest?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Now, do we have any discussion items? Sam?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I did want to update the Council on the Interfaith Disaster Recovery Council Board, because both you and Tom are integral members. If one of you would like to do that.
Tom, why don't we go ahead and do the numbers and things? Hanging on.
We've seen, we started probably, the IDR consisted mostly of food delivery this time around. It's set up, of course, to handle a lot of different areas if there's a disaster, depending on the type. In this particular case, it was basically providing food support to not only residents, but also any of the families participating in the weekend food program. Once school was not operating anymore, then all those kids on the free and reduced lunch program were no longer receiving any kind of food support. So the IDR encompassed that portion. So we looked at starting with the weekly food program and also the food bank, basically St. Anne's extended food bank. And the more we got into it and started trying to get food purchased and so forth, and found a lot of empty shelves in the big stores. So fortunately, St. Anne had a large enough supply and inventory to get it kicked off, and we started the program. It's been a couple of weeks now. The involvement primarily was St. Anne as one of the distribution points. Belfries United Methodist Church as doing all the data collection, putting programs together, registering people, and getting us ready to go. So just a couple of days after this came into being, we started the delivery process. I think we had maybe first time around maybe 50 down at the Community Life Center. That's been the main distribution point from down the highway. St. Anne was the other. We had maybe a dozen or so there. But we found out fairly quickly that this really was just one program and not two separate ones trying to operate around each other. So once we did that, we were able to change the amount of food, outlay, the whole works, and get that program on the road. Mike Stahl runs a weekend food program. Also, we entered into some negotiations with Mana Food Bank. We had very little, if any kind of support from them on this side of the bridge. But all of a sudden, they jumped up. They became our major supplier. So now we're working with them, making weekly deliveries. Delivery due tomorrow. The need has passed from the city side to almost all of it being encompassed down by the Community Life Center down in that. Part of the problem here was we were not able to get anything approved through the school system. Not that there was a lack of trying or anything with the school board or the superintendent. We just couldn't get any kind of delivery approved for the west end of the South County. So we are depending mostly on remnants of the weekend food program. So it's all come together. It's working well. I think probably, well, we don't have an end date, so. But I think the thing there is that Anna has agreed to support us for quite some time. There's no end to it, so just on a weekly basis we're delivering. Lots of volunteers, lots of help. So it's working well.
And Tom, that registration is still open, correct? So
It is still open, but as an example, we had them registering first for people within the city limits. And that was up to maybe 20 families. And now it's down to the point where we're just having Madam bypass us tomorrow and just take everything directly down to Community Life Center. So we're supporting it still. We're still there ready to pick up again. We have a fair amount of surplus. If there is such a thing, surplus inventory. Right now, it's kind of into a rhythm. Some of the Community Life Centers do an awful lot on their own with other groups, so they're doing a good job of kind of keeping the emergency response team, kind of keeping them on one side, but not letting it interfere with some deliveries of fresh foods, fresh bread, milk, things like that. Because this is primarily a system of only non-refrigeration items. So we're kind of venturing out a little bit. As long as it doesn't drag IDR into it, we're fine.
Yeah, I remember in the first report, they said they had a lot of families that, had for years, but they had that food, so it's a great project. Thank you.
All right, any, other items? All right, public forum, Leslie?
I've not received any emails, letters, or
All right, thank you. Okay.
The more we do this,
Yeah, I think so too. Probably all of us getting used to it. All right, we will move on to council comments. Randy, we'll start with you.
Well, I see the dredge project still moving along, and I think it's good.
Me too.
Yeah, it's getting closer to your home.
Yes,
so
it is.
Hopefully,
It's getting very close.
yeah, hopefully it'll pass quickly. Just keep in mind that the end result and hopefully people are okay with it. I think we have enough other things going on in the world to keep occupied.
Yeah, the walkers that have come by that I've talked to have been very positive. I think it's
So it's good to see the debt project still.
yes, it's huge. JB?
Saw the signs went up for the other project
Yes.
on Bear Street. That was good to see.
Yes.
That was nice. And then just want to thank staff for jumping on Dolphin Street and getting that added into it. It was so much better. I know the neighbors are all a lot happier than it really needed. So I appreciate staff getting that part added on to it.
Okay, good job. Ron?
I just want to thank Sam and her team for stepping up in this type of crisis that we have. Team putting out the extra effort. Those that are working remotely is very difficult to do and keep up the pace. Sounds like they've done a good job so far.
Thank you. Express that too.
Tom?
Just basically wanted to echo that. Staff's working very hard, doing a really good job.
I think you're proactive planning. I know just in talking to a couple of other places that by Samantha led the team early on as far as determining who would be able to work remotely in a practical sense and all the things that went with that, how many would be needed. And so now it seems like you're just probably being able to implement what you planned, which is great for us. So congratulations. Good job.
The deal on the water.
And then I just had one thing, which you all heard about today from Samantha, which is one-time special assistance grant for local businesses. It's one that Santa Rosa County Development Council, Economic Development Council's long title, initiated, and so they have contributed $100,000 for Santa Rosa County, and then Milton has joined in, and they asked us if we would be interested too. And one of the good things about it is it has flexible guidelines. We can kind of tailor the guidelines for anything we contribute to what we feel like is most effective for our local businesses. So we'll be talking about that later, and we'll probably be on the next agenda, so we can have further discussion and move forward with that. Okay, that's it. All right, thank you.
They have a projected start signing checks.
Yes, we were talking today, and really it depends on the council's action, and we explained that, that conceptually, we have heard, favorable things from the council, but that your next meeting was on the 20th. And so, if there aren't any concerns expressed, we can move forward in the next 2 weeks with promoting that, so that if you take action on the 20th to launch the program, then as early as the 21st, we can start taking applications. The Small Business Development Center, they are the ones who actually accept the applications. And so I say we in the universal sense that it will be SCDC and Santa Rosa County Economic Development. So as early as the 21st, if all goes well and the council launches it on the 20th.
Any other questions? All All right, that is it. And so we are, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good job.
Oh, thanks.